Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Goodbye Bullshit, Hello Happiness, Young and Empowered Edition with my wonderful co host, Samir. Hello, Samir.
Hello,
Happy January.
happy January, happy New Year. Thanks for having me again.
Yes, it's wonderful. This is your show, too. So,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, that's right. That's true. That's true. Young and Empowered edition.
yes. Before we get it started, this is first opportunity for me that I'm wearing all my merch. So I told Samir, so I was gonna let you guys know. Some people have asked about the sweatshirts already. So if you're interested about the sweatshirts, about these beanies that's keeping my head warm, and my thank you, yes,
Yeah, I gotta rep it.
these mugs, yes.
The best.
You can find them on, if you go to my website, atousaraissyan.com. There's a link to all my different shops. If you go to the apparel shop, obviously has these things, and which is my Etsy shop, and any of the artworks. If you go on the wall art or print shop on there, it takes you to the link for those. So
I,
now that that's out of the way,
I just want to add, I love the slogan: "Transform your life and choose to see magic." I love that. That's a motto to live by.
thank you. That's honestly, this is the reason. So I came up with the logo to be a unicorn, to remember that magic is always around you.
Yeah.
You don't need to see it to believe it. It's always there. You're feeling it. And transform your life. That's what I'm all about. Everybody can transform, everybody can shift, everybody can get there. And it's a choice that to do it, that transformation, that magic. It's a choice to see it. It's a choice to transform. It's a choice to live by that. So
That's awesome.
thank
That's
you for bringing that out. Yeah, I didn't even talk about that.
no problem. I had to mention it.
Thank you. So let's get into it. I wanted to ask you, it was a question I was thinking about. Where do you feel your power comes from?
Wow, that's a loaded question. I love it. It's deep. And personally, for me, I feel like I pull from from different areas and different points of times in life. More recently, I feel like I've been trying to get more in tune with my ancestors and my guides and my angels and just having an open invitation to for them to guide me along my journey and to give me subtle reminders of who I am and what they've done to allow me to get to this certain point. So I feel like a lot of my getting up every morning and getting after it comes from not trying to let them down or just being the best version of myself possible because of how far I am today. Being able to live such an abundant life right now because of what they did. So just kind of like holding up that that pride and respect to keep pushing harder for them. How about you?
Um, I like all those things that you said. For me, too, it's shifted during the years. I think as I have shifted, at some point, I know I didn't even know where, like, what was even my power. I didn't feel powerful. There was so much fear and anxiety in me that I thought my power is coming from the work I'm doing. Like at that point, I was an engineer, the titles I was carrying, making the money, and even my strength. I was like super, into fitness and working out, but it wasn't more for the health benefit of it. It was more that I felt so powerless, that I felt that physical strength was going to give me my power.
Mm.
And during the years, it certainly has shifted. And then when I think early on, when I started this work, then I started, like you said, that communication with my spirit guides, that they're with me, and that connection made me feel, that I have power. And more recently, past, I would say, few years, it's been more the love I have.
Okay.
That love, it just feels my like superpower.
Yeah.
The love I have, it's an unconditional love, that I feel not just for myself, but sort of for everything and everyone around me, even like people that I may not like to be around, or like their the things they might be doing or where they're at. Still, there's this love, that I can, and certainly for my clients, that's just like when I feel that, I just like.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And I like how you kind of described that sense of trying to define your power within the physical realm by working out and running and defining and drawing from that power. But from personal experience, I've done the same thing, and after a while, it's like you burn out. You burn out. You could run yourself into exhaustion. You could out train yourself into exhaustion, and you deplete that source of energy and have to dig and pull from somewhere else. And I feel like love is over abundant. It never runs out. So if you're able to make that connection and you can realize that early, you could always draw from that place of energy, and if your power originates there, I feel like it's limitless.
Exactly. And I like that you talked about the burnout, because I had, in a couple of different shows, I've mentioned that I was in so much pain, especially my hands and arms,
Mhm.
because I did like kickboxing, and not the Taibo type kickboxing. I still have the bag in my house, and I went with the bag, and I would punch so hard,
Yeah,
and all my fingers, I would have these salon paws patches on them, and my arm, like two hands, both of them would be like these white patches all over it. My knee hurting, my everything was hurting, but I wouldn't like stop. I would just like push through, because stopping meant that I I was going to lose my power.
hmm,
And it came a time that all of it, I had to stop. And from there, sort of, I've rebuilt it into now listening to my body every day. What kind of movement does it want to do?
right.
How does it want to move? And there are days that it might say, yeah, let's go for a run. And I want to do a 4-mile run, and I run. And there are days is like, can we do a mile and then do some walking instead of running, or even lifting, anything. I just listen to it, and it guides me of, what it feels like.
That's awesome.
Um, and the other thing that you asked me about, that source of love, um, I think for most people, especially if you are feeling powerless, um, the easiest way, because there's a vulnerability, if you want to feel that love and express that love, if you connect with nature, I found out that nature felt a safe place to express that love and receive that love,
Hmm.
that unconditional love. So definitely connect with nature, wind, trees, the sun, the moon,
Yeah.
the
No,
animals, whatever.
absolutely, absolutely. That's huge. That's huge, and I can attest to that too because for whatever reason, I always feel more empowered when I'm out in nature. You could go on a walk with no destination, and you're in the heart of nature. It has a giving relationship. And to add, my dad always used to tell me this growing up, but grounding. I'm sure you've heard of grounding. Being outside with barefoot and
Yes.
just being present for an exchange of a give and receive relationship, and I've done that several times, and could attest to the positive benefits that you could have.
Oh
And
yeah.
oh yeah, have you ever grounded before?
Oh yeah, I do it all the time. I get in my backyard. I
Yeah.
even once on a hike, you know, there was nobody. When there's water, it's easier. You can just say, you're walking in the water. But this was like in the middle of the woods, nothing. It's just like, I just need to take my socks and shoes off and just stand here. I just need to feel the ground without anything in between. And it felt it. Yeah, it's one of my favorite things.
It's
And you
awesome.
mentioned the ancestors and spirit guides. Nature and especially that grounding, it really helps if you want to connect. That was my take on it. I don't know if you have had similar experience or not.
Yeah, I could say I have in a sense, especially in my backyard. And we spoke about this on a previous show about loved ones who passed and how they show themselves. I notice whenever I do decide to go to grow in the backyard barefoot and just sit down and maybe underneath the tree in the backyard, I notice the visitors appear a little bit more.
Mm.
And I'm not too sure if it's a synchronistic uh, occurrence, but I see these things happen more frequently when I do decide to take a step out of the day to day grind and leave my phone inside and ground. I see these things happen a little bit more often, and it's
Nice.
not a coincidence.
No, no, because it's a place where you're opening yourself up and you're not feeling vulnerable, and that opening, it allows you to receive.
Yes, yes, that's
So
huge. That's huge.
nice, nice, nice. Um, Now, the other question I had for you was, it kind of relates to power. It's another thing that we talked about, um, your truth. So everybody talks about living their truth. So
Mhm.
how do you live your truth, and what does it even look like? What does it even mean?
That's a great question too. Personally, I feel like the more I understood and got to know who I am and know myself, the trial and errors through life, I got to realize when I'm thriving the most in life and when I'm the most down, and what I'm doing in those situations. And when I'm thriving the most in life and get into the flow state, I'm always helping other people. I'm always helping other people get better. I'm always putting smiles on people's faces. I'm always getting that private conversation, like, you actually really helped me today. That's when I feel like I'm in flow state. So I would attribute my truth to making the life of those around me better. Um, like being in a teacher role, like whether I was a personal trainer, I was a swim instructor, within playing those roles and doing them from a passionate place, I feel like that was my truth. So just being able to spread love around me and have people around me get better in the process. I would just say that's my truth. How about you?
I love that. I'm going to ask you a question first, and then I'm going to answer your question.
Okay.
So, how do you make sure that you're living your truth every day and not get bogged down into the daily grind?
That's a great one. To be honest, I'm not successful at that every day. I'm not successful at that every day. A lot of the time, sometimes I do, work happens and I get caught up in the daily grind of work, and I forget to live in my truth. But I always reflect and have constant reminders that I'm in the best position when I'm helping others. So at any opportunity and every opportunity I get to help somebody or lift them up, I'll do it, and without expecting anything in return, just
Yeah,
because I love doing that.
yeah, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
To answer your question now, there was a time I would say I was absolutely not living my truth
Hmm.
and didn't even really think about it. Um, because I was so focused on, again, job, money, bills, had to fit in. relationships,
Hmm.
all those, what I call the external life stuff.
Yeah.
And, I would come and look at internal a little bit, and then I would be like, ugh,
Right.
let me not look at that stuff. And until the time that, uh, it was just universe said, nope, you've played around too long. Now it's time.
Hmm.
Sit your butt down, and it's time to go in and really, really clean up.
Mm.
And I think that was when I started figuring things out and figuring what I really wanted to do and what my truth was and what would make me happy. And just like you, and I think that's true for a lot of people, when we let the BS of life go,
Hmm.
we find that we are happiest and we're living more in our truth if we're being of service.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the service, again, doesn't mean like you have to do what I do. It's like what you said, every day, if you can even put a smile on someone's face, if you can help them with whatever they need help with, it's an encouraging word. Holding the door for someone if
Right.
their hands are full, those are all, you're being of service and you're making someone's day better.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's beautiful. I have one more question for you too. On top of,
Yes.
um, how do you stay consistent in living in your truth? How do you what drives you to continue to live in your truth, and where do you pull from?
Um, Different now than before, for
Hmm.
sure. Right now, excuse me, it's more of I connect that look with my clients when I in the session, my one-on-one sessions, when I see like I got them to see something and we opened it up. And really, the greatest gift is that they feel safe with me to open up those spaces. And when we shift them and move them, that's that's it. That's
That's awesome.
because that exchange of love and gratitude in that moment,
Yeah.
that's where I draw everything from. And the work I do, so that's easier for me now.
Right.
But before, it had to be a conscious effort that I did,
Mm.
that in the morning, throughout the day, I would connect with places of love and gratitude for not just, again, I tell people that it's not a, oh, I'm grateful for my health, I'm grateful for my family. Those things, yes, but really get into everything. You're like, I would walk and like a breeze out of nowhere would hit me. I'm like, thank you. I love you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, everything and anything, any opportunity to connect with that love and gratitude, that would be the source for me to pull that energy and to be able to continuously be able to give and to get to this place that's shifted.
That's awesome. That's beautiful. I heavily agree. And just like you can go out into nature to pull to get that power, I feel like you just said, just a gratitude journal or being very aware of what you're grateful for, from the littlest to the biggest things, is another one of those limitless mountains that you could pull from for your power.
Because when you, again, it goes back to opening yourself up.
Yeah.
When you open yourself up and you make that choice to see and to receive, then every moment can be an opportunity, and you will find it in every moment. You will find something to love and something to be grateful for in every moment.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree 100%.
Nice, nice.
Yes.
So now we actually talked about this a little bit, and I think both of us touched on it. Especially for me and my generation and the culture that I grew up in, we were taught like early on, you need to go to college, you need to, and not, it wasn't study what you're passionate about, but study, get a degree in something that is gonna give you money and it's gonna give you success and it's gonna give you safety. So everything was about money, which money in terms would be my place for power and safety.
Hmm.
And that's how I grew up. It was never about following your passion and doing what would make me happy.
Right.
So, and that's where, you know, I, my life, the biggest shift was going from that place of no, I am safe and I am abundant. So, how does that translate for you in your life? And have you made this shift? At what point did you, or maybe your parents told you, like, follow your dreams, follow your passions? You,
Absolutely. Well, to answer your question, I feel like my generation, but me speaking for myself as a millennial generation, right? We've got a little bit of the best of both worlds in the sense that our parents have told us the same thing. Go to school, go to college, become a doctor, a lawyer, or work in finance, something that's going to be able to put money in your pocket so you can live a good life. That's basically the recipe that they've seen to work and that they felt, but I'm in a unique crossroad right now where, yeah, I was taught that, but that I'm in an unlearning process in this at the same
Mhm.
time. So I feel like it's easy to say you much rather, yeah, chase your passion and pursue your passion versus the security of a job that pays you on time and you get a lot of financial success. But I feel like the risk and reward factor is, it's worth it. It's well worth it, and you're a living testament of that. Being in both positions, I feel like it's much worth the risk. And one of the easiest ways to lose yourself and not have an idea of who you are is if you subscribe to the idea of security over abundance. So me personally, um, I'm in a position right now where I'm doing what I have to do in order to get to that place, but I will continue to fight for my passion every single day until I'm there, and I'm just keeping that abundant mindset and identifying what I am passionate about so that I could bring it into fruition, without resistance, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and universe is gonna help you along the way. It's gonna take you there.
Hmm.
You hear a lot of actually, successful actors, actresses say this, that they wish if somebody had at the beginning told them, like, if somebody comes and gives you millions of dollars and say, okay, you have the money, now what do you want to do? And everybody would follow their passion, because for them now they see, they were successful because they did what they were passionate about. It was never about money. And if people out there, I don't know if you know Alan Watts, back in the day, he's got a lot of great videos if you just search him on YouTube. But one of them, he actually is talking to college students about the same thing, that don't study, what is going to basically bring you money and success like that. But if you follow your passion and if you follow what feels good to you and follow that and study whatever it is that you want to do, even if it's in college, follow that route. It's going to be, first of all, it's easy. It's not a hard work anymore. The
Right.
hard work part of it goes out the window.
Right.
and you're going to find yourself where you need to be in a much, it's like that flow that you talked about earlier, when you know you're in that flow.
Right.
And that passion, that feeling the abundance puts you in that flow, and you can easily go where you need to go and where you're supposed to go.
Absolutely. And to add to that, like you just said, like when you're following or you're studying or you're immersed in something that you're passionate about, and you go head on, because it's not easy as well. Just because it's your passion, it's going to take a lot of work. But I genuinely feel like success is a byproduct of you chasing your passion. And whether it's financial security you're chasing, or whether it's fulfillment, those things are gonna just come as a byproduct for you taking the risk and having the courage to go against the grain and identify what that passion is and go in 10 toes without looking back. I feel like the fulfillment, the financial success, the security, the freedom, those are all byproducts of choosing to bet on yourself.
Everything will fall into place. Yes, I
Everything.
can guarantee you. Just follow what you're passionate about. And I have to also say, sometimes it's necessary the path you've taken to
Mhm.
get you to that place that you can do your passion. And everybody's heard me say this before. I don't think I could have said in my 20s, okay, I'm going to start this practice. I
Yeah,
would do this.
yeah,
All that stuff needed to happen, and I needed to grow and do all those things to get to this space that I'm doing. So in a way, let's ask the question, did I follow my passion or not? I
right.
know I set this out when I was very young. I was a little kid, and then sort of went into all over the place, and then I ended up here. So did I follow my passion?
100%. 100%. I definitely agree with you. It's all. I feel like everything happens by design, and you have to. There's a certain level of understanding of like not staying in the same place for too long and identifying it, but all the experiences, the people you've met, your personal journey contributed to where you are today. So I feel like that's the same for everybody, and it just takes a little introspection to and honesty with self to realize if this is what I really love, or am I doing this because it pays the bills? But it's a leap of faith, and I feel like it's always worth it.
I think you might have answered the question I was going to ask you, is that um, how do you stay in that place of knowing you're in the flow, like you were saying right now,
Hmm.
that being honest with yourself,
Yeah.
that I'm following my passion. So that, how did you keep doing that, coming back? Because it's definitely true for me. I had to be honest with myself and say, and I like for you to talk about, how do you stay in that place of honesty with yourself?
It's tough because sometimes you're not gonna like or love the truth. When you take that inventory, you're gonna be like, oh, yeah, that is true. But it's a brutal honesty that I feel like you deserve to yourself. You could easily lie to yourself and make yourself feel better, but that's a band-aid that doesn't fix the wound. You want to really address the wound, you be honest. You be brutally honest. You take self inventory. That's what I do. I reflect. I look back. I'm like, okay, this is where I am. A year ago, I wanted to be here. What actions have I done? Am I in line? Am I in alignment? Am I more happy than upset throughout the day? Am I easily irritated? These are all things that I ask myself, and then I take honest, genuine inventory on it. And then if I'm not in alignment, I write, how can I fix it? I try to problem solve, and that it keeps me honest, and it gives me a good sense of where I am, and if I'm closer or further away of where I want to be.
Honest and genuine with yourself. That's the way. I agree. And in a way, you know, when you put it that way too, can we say that we have both been passionate about ourselves, meaning like getting to the truth of ourselves and who we are and what makes us happy, and you know, sort of getting in that space of alignment.
Yeah,
We've put that as a priority, as our passion, and everything else is coming to guide us and takes us there.
yeah, yeah. 100%. 100%. And that's the beauty of it. It's it's much easier said than done, but that honesty, that honesty, I feel like is important. It's a key ingredient in this all, and clearly identifying what that passion is number two.
Yep, yep. I like that.
Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for me?
Just can you just remind me where I can get some merch?
Oh my gosh, thank you. Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
You guys go to my website, AtousaRaissyan.com. You see my name on the corner. Just put a .com at the end.
Awesome.
And it has Solistic Shop in there, and it has all the links to my Etsy shop, my art print shop, and NFTs, whatever you want. I hope you guys enjoy it. Thank you, Samir. I love this conversation. If you guys have topics for us that you want us to cover, please reach out to us. If there's anything we can talk about, help you with, reach out. Happy to do it. Any last words you want to?
I'm just grateful. Thanks for hosting this Young and Empowered edition. You know, I'm your co-host, and every single time we speak, we bring out some truth that needs to be heard, even if for myself. So I love it.
I
See you
love it
guys.
too. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Samir. Bye, everybody.
Bye bye.